But as we head off to Shanghai and our first champ select, it's Ultra Prime on the blue side, FPX on the red side. We already have our first phase gone through, and some big ones here.
And I'm terrified because they haven't picked bot lane yet. It could happen again. It could be there. I live in fear, waking with a sweat at night about what happens with the Rammus Yumi. They have to pick that bot lane.
Actually kind of feels good in this one. I don't know, I'm just saying.
So, funnily enough, so I was speaking with Kelsey Moser about this, because this happened a bit in high elo NA solo queue, and apparently Rammus Senna is actually a better bot lane in early game, but we don't have to deal with that. Thank God! Innovation or in is not part of the question now, and it's going to be Tristana Milio. So this is a combo which was brought out by Abel and PP God a lot last year on OMG. Now, if you survive the first couple of levels, this duo becomes so annoying because Tristana gains a lot of range throughout the game, and then the Milio buffs that up as well. You have huge range as an AD carry.
I love it because you never expect, on top of the range that Tristana has, the extra range and the amount of damage that she can pump out. We do get the Neela though, and that's a crucial pick in this bot lane. It actually does pretty well, I feel like, into this 2v2.
Ooh, and that means if Tristana jumps in, Neela says, alright, bet, we're fighting. I love this bot lane duo. I think that both of these teams have done a good amount of innovating. I know the Rammus UV is one thing, and it's funny, don't get me wrong. But I think MilkyWay as well, he played some Diana games. They've tried, look, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
You said the words!
Trying.
We have it on record.
I like the fact that both of these teams are trying to stretch out their champion pools a little bit. I think particularly when you're sat at 0-3 and 1-2, you need to start finding some different stuff to find your mojo again. Picking out some different bot lanes like this, I like it. It's going to be a fist fight. Hopefully it should be very entertaining.
And obviously Ultra Prime really want to pick up their first series win, right? This one at least is going to be the last iteration of these two teams before we get into the long break that we have ahead of us. So it's definitely a little bit more pressure for both these two sides. But that's where I want to break down coming into this one. I think some of the different looks that we've seen, right? And I think Doggo is something we have to keep an eye on. Yuekai, seriously impressed the last time we saw. And we had a whole bit about the MilkyWay combo here for FPX. I think that's something crucial to keep an eye on here too.
Yeah, MilkyWay, so my brother Initialized talks to me an awful lot about LDL, the development league. MilkyWay was the prospect to watch, and we saw what he could do on carry junglers. Now, he's not on a carry this game. It's not the Lee Sin or the Diana, which he showed off with in the last series. It's a Maokai, though. It's a staple. Every jungler's got to be able to show their chops on this one, and with the scaling carries on his side as well, he has to be part of the combo, which makes things work.
We heard the crowd roar to life in Shenzhen. Let's see if Shanghai is just as loud as we head off to the arena and on to Summoner's Rift for game one of our second series of the day. You hold on tight, because it's Ultra Prime versus FPX.
That guy has got some lungs, man.
Yeah,
that was some real shouting. I can appreciate that. That's me on a Monday night doing karaoke.
Hey, that's me right now. I'm shouting.
Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
Ooh, that's a great question. Brandy is one I really like. If you've ever, you know.
I actually haven't heard of that.
Oh my God.
I'm now gonna have to check it out. See, mine are quite easy. I just take anything off of like the first 3 albums by Linkin Park, and that'll probably see me done.
It's by Looking Glass. It's an old song, all right? It's an old song. It's groovy.
Hey,
it's fun.
I like old songs too. I just don't know that particular old song.
No, it's so sad.
But okay, to bring it briefly back to the day, we do of course have the old song and dance truly in the Corky is it.
No, I don't want to talk about this Nymeara. No. Okay. Fine.
Well,
okay.
I'm gonna have to quiz you more on karaoke at some other point. Maybe some stuff that I actually know. We do have this bot lane, which is of course potentially going to be a lot of fist fighting. Don't have the cozy campfire just yet to increase the range of Doggo's auto attacks. Have to be very wary of some slight XP up all-ins though from Deokdam and Life. This Neela can get really spicy in the early phase.
And I think this bot lane was a key piece to the, at least, puzzle that FPX has been put together with the 1-2 start, because I think Deokdam and Life have been a great combo, and I'm curious to now see how Doggo and Jwei, who I feel like have been struggling in some regards, are going to be able to stand up to this 2v2, and right now they're standing up pretty tall.
Struggling in some regards, like losing their tower at
Hey, all right, we didn't need to go into detail.
I feel like that benefits one of us more than the others. Well, this time, of course, Doggo Heck, thinking about it, he is a very famous player of the Tristana. When he came onto the pro scene, when he subbed in for Unified in PSG Talon, this was the champion which he really made his name on in that. So I think I can make his name known early in this mid lane. Nope, nothing to be gained there. Valkyrie's still available. Care is safe.
MilkyWay will be seen around the corner. Hacker playing, buying his time here, though Yuekai goes in. Here comes Care going down. Hacker, one more auto from Yuekai, and he gets it.
Oh, that was close. I think the Foss Bomb just missed out on Yuekai. Care could have turned that around for a 1-for-1. Doesn't quite manage it. Sad times for the FPX mid laner. MilkyWay knew that potentially there was an angle coming in towards mid. That's why he dropped the ward in bot side river, but they were just too late. Well played by Hacker and Yuekai to get the first blood.
Length of damage is something that you got to keep an eye on, and they just have so much engageable, at least range for Ultra Prime, the combo between Yuekai and Hacker. Speaking of combos, see the two go in bot side of the map, but that should be all she wrote down here. We have MilkyWay hovering this way, and we'll take a look back at that play here.
Yeah, you can see, again, the thought process is there. They know that mid lane is potentially under some kind of threat. They just haven't got the timing right. Hacker gets there too early. Care doesn't flash out on the Optic Assault. Maybe should have flashed. Sadly, doesn't hit his skills onto Yuekai to rid them the kill.
Would have been a big turnaround, but now it just leads to Ultra Prime being in advantageous position. You also now have a full clear at least coming through, and a reset of that clear for MilkyWay. So not as active as I would say Ultra Prime is, but that's where I want to check in with the FPX composition, because I feel like that could just be fine with the way they're trying to set up a little bit later on down the road.
Yeah, I mean, this composition, of course, you have a Corki, you're happy to go towards later items. You're really fist fighting a bit more here. Double E coming out from Deokdam, I believe, or maybe that was Bin Life. They were both flitting around. It's actually quite hard to keep track of them. They have so much ability to keep going in. Very interested to see if they can find a successful all-in with the Ignite and the Ghost.
Good patience from Doggo there. There is absolutely a world where he gets all in there, but he saved his rocket jump until all the combos came through. Really, really appreciate that. At least reservation early on now.
It's worth noting as well in regards to how both these teams are kind of... this value of this win is actually quite high because they found themselves in a pretty awkward start to the season. FPX should have won their last series, realistically. They're very far ahead in Game 3, and they ended up throwing around the Baron even after they had a very fed Yona down a combination. Things just didn't go well from around that one objective. Things fell apart beyond that point. But now suddenly they are looking at the point where they do need to be picking up wins against struggling teams like Ultra Prime. You cannot afford to give up series like this. As we said, sometimes before Chinese New Year, you'll find yourself in a point where you can drop a series. It's fine. You can ramp up later. You can go after the break. But this time when we've got about 3 weeks in place before the break comes through, some teams are playing like 5 times, man. You can't afford to drop so many series at this point.
Yeah, I mean, in Ultra Prime after this one are already 4 series into their split. There's, you know, starts counting down pretty quickly. We do have the split up of these objectives here, and I do appreciate that. I think it does give both teams a little bit of difference to play around. But the thing I think is more interesting about the way that early objectives go down now is like, it instantly counteracts what you're trying to build towards, right? Because now FPX do not want to give any more grubbies over Ultra Prime, and a little bit less so. Yeah, the grubby tubbies. Sorry, got the name wrong. I apologize. Trademark lawyers, please not forgive me. Whereas like now Ultra Prime maybe want to stop this early dragon stacking from FPX.
Potentially. I think that the grubs for this Tristana Milio, though, is really nasty. You can see that there's a plate taken in the bot side already. Because you're going to level up in terms of range as well with Tristana, and then have the Milio, you're going to be able to actually get auto attacks on turret as this bot lane. I don't think there's that much that FPX can do in terms of stopping them. Well, okay, they can throw Maokai ult at the turret that they're sieging, but they need to be prepared every single way for Doggo and Jwei to potentially be chipping down the turret. That's why Deokdam and Life, they need to try and keep them away from turret as long as possible and threaten all-ins.
Yuekai was going for the Emperor's Divide there. Can't exactly get the step between him and Care. Hacker was on the way as well. He had that Glacial Prison too. Bot lane getting a little bit of an engage. Deokdam has popped that Ghost. Here comes that Apotheosis. And we actually get the re-engage with the Nature's Grass coming down too. They can't get the combos off with the damage though. And Doggo and Jwei unscathed, just their summoner spells burn.
So that's a heck of a force. They used 3 ultimates to bring that in. Hacker is going to spot every single one of them as they retreat away. What this does do is, again, just remove some combat power from Jwei. I don't think it even matters that they don't get the kill necessarily. Of course, they would love that. But the fact that they can just chunk them out and stop them maybe from pushing in the next wave and using these grubs to chunk down the tower, that's quite important. Try and deny as much tower gold as possible.
Hacker still had the Glacial Prison there. That's why Ultra Prime felt pretty confident moving forward on that, because they could just pull the trigger as soon as the team separated. Didn't find it, though, and we go back to good graces here. And I guess the check-in now comes to bear is, I think the way, while we focus across the board on the other sides of the map, top lane has gone a little bit quietly here. And I think that's why the Jax and the K'Sante aren't going to actually be major factors moving forward.
I think that particularly this matchup last season was very Jack's favored as soon as he built up the Divine Sunderer, but K'Sante could kill him very early. That's not really the case anymore, but you've heard us say that enough at this point. We've started to find that out about the meta. I think both of these champions are going to be very important in team fights, as you say, later on, though, because if you get a good enough Counter-Strike onto the Tristana or onto the Milio, then suddenly they might have to blow the Buster Shot or the Breath of Life early, and that maybe gives an extra angle for FPX to follow up. And of course, K'Sante in this kind of composition, if he gets onto someone like this Nymeara, can maybe at least carry them out of the fight to stop them killing the rest of the team.
Also kind of cool to see Xioalaohu, somebody who's been growing his fandom, I feel like, in the community here recently, go up against a newer face in Decade, at least newer face to Ultra Prime. It's been really interesting to see how Xioalaohu's aggression has kind of tempered over time, because a lot of times I feel like last year we were seeing a lot of overextensions, and sometimes that's the way the meta was playing towards him, but I feel like it definitely has gotten a little bit more reserved from FPX's top lane.
It's been really interesting checking in on some of the top laners, which aren't necessarily on the top teams, because, I mean, we had Cube and Xiaoshu have some great moments last year as well. I think Xioalaohu did have some great individual moments, but yes, they were tempered by the aggression. It's actually been quite a harsh proving grounds for a lot of top laners in the LPL. Heck, I mean, I even look at players like Hoyo, right, who's had some great moments, but he's been contested about the place. Top lane in LPL is not as simple as it might seem. There is no definitive tier list for how these top laners are playing.
I'm just, it's so curious. The meta means so much for so many of our top laners, because I feel like we have a very big breadth of styles of top laners a lot of the
who
time.
can play Renekton and who can play K'Sante.
Yeah, you know.
Because now Renekton's gone, the Renekton players from last year are like, that kind of sucks. But the K'Sante players are loving it.
Decade's going to be loving it in a minute, hopefully, if he can get that K'Sante outplay here. Is he going to be able to get it and actually able to pull FPX off of the dive for at least a moment?
So, Life basically saw that the Unstoppable was gone from the K'Sante. They're going to re-dive without the Ignite.
And they're going to TP.
Out.
They just full on. The Apotheosis didn't hit. There's the package utilized in the all-out, trying to bring Deokdam back, but Kara claims the kill.
But the problem here is that you've given over multiple grubs. You've got the Tristana Milio pushing on the top side. You've committed 4 people to a dive that takes 2 waves to get into the turret. You've lost a whole. You've given up 6 grubs, and you're getting a double push in both of your lanes. The time committed on bot side is not worth it from FunPlus Phoenix.
That is a lot gone. They do get a couple more plates down in bot side for Deokdam. I think that is big, but yeah, you had the 2 taken in mid lane, those 6 grubbies. That is now fully in season of the Telegrubs. But it is finally that the second plate going down in top lane as well. So a massive advantage, at least in the moment. Still not that far in holistic sense from FPX and Ultra Prime.
Yeah, at least you get the kill goal on top of it as well, so you get a couple of plates, you get yourself kill goal, so it's not like immediately this is going to lead out to that much. It just felt like that dive had been a little quicker, or they just called it off and defend on the turrets. It would have been just a much simpler play for them. Just trying to nucleate some gold onto this Nymeara. Nymeara is very much an all-in champion. As soon as they get towards 2 items, 3 items, they just pump out damage. However, with all of this set around the map, Ultra Prime, they get to go back, spend their gold, head back towards the dragon. But it looks like it could be a fight afterwards.
Trying to go for the engage on Jwei. They do get it as everything being utilized onto him. MilkyWay in some trouble. There's a big Emperor's Divide. Doggo stepping forward with the resets here. Life gonna be jumped on and taken out as well. Everyone's getting wiped up, but that's gonna be a couple kills to the carries of Ultra Prime.
Honestly, sick fight from Doggo. Gets a lot of good damage. I love his positioning there. And this is the champion, which everything started for in him, really, on an international level. Brings it back at the 0-3 mark. Hopefully starting to right some of the difficulties which he's had in this split so far.
And it's not just been in this split, it's been across the last couple of years, right? He was brought over after that big moment for PSG on the world stage to try to step into a BLG super team and just didn't work it out.
Yeah, this is the dude that was swapping places with Uzi back then. Look at how Doggo positions here. Hops over the wall within his range, has the Nymeara range too. The bomb doesn't quite kill, but with the second jump, he gets the ability to just keep chasing down with the Ghost active as well. Really like how he positioned at this point. The Neela wasn't really in a position to get the huge wombo combo, and now it's this Tristana, which is going to be winning the DPS race alongside this Azir, up until we get some more items onto the core kid Nymeara.
That's a very scary combo to have a lot of gold on. I feel like, especially with some of Yuekai's recent play, I feel like Yuekai had, at least in their losses, been the big standout for me. And it's just really cool to see Yuekai go up, at least in this situation, in a growth of another year, but also just having a lot of presence on this team from mid lane.
Up against Care as well, and Care was a player which had some moments of brilliance last year, but just couldn't quite string together quite the consistent performances. See what he can do on this core, which LPL has typically been struggling on. Xioalaohu, he's behind, he's under his turret. Bot lane is coming in, so there shouldn't be a dive coming through.
Trying to take down as many plays as possible with the time that's left. About 30 seconds left on that, and they've taken so many plays. 4 in bot side, 2 in mid, and 2 in
6
top.
grubs, man. Now, we've had a lot of conversations about, are grubs a win condition? How can you play it without them? If you have a lane like this, which can hit turret for free, they are absolutely busted.
All 5 plates go the way of Ultra Prime. Also, another one added to the repertoire in mid lane as well, and they're utilizing this really well. That's what I like about this, is it's not just the lead, but they're trying to utilize it in every way possible.
So now the question becomes, can FPX stop relentless tower pushing as the game goes on? Because you're going to have to stat check this Tristana at some point. The problem is, if you throw a Maokai ult at them when they're trying to siege a tower, then the Milio ult comes out and the cleanse comes through. You need to have a multi-part engage to make sure you can force this duo away from turret. 6 grubs pushing with this is absolutely insane. Giving a Herald open to give another power play, I don't think FPS can afford to do this. They need to buy some time for their items to come online.
The TP coming down, they say this is where we stand. The line in the sand is going to be drawn. The combo is pulled. Doggo jumps away. Doggo's a little bit low. Decade goes for the all-out. MilkyWay's in there. Breath of Life giving another chance to Ultra Prime as the Emperor's Divide from Yuekai makes the difference, splitting them in half. And Doggo now jumps forward to his doom, but he survives. And a double kill goes over to Yuekai, who is stepping up massively in this first game.
Doggo's doom was a little bit over-exaggerated, I feel. He does jump into the counter-strike, but it's not enough to kill him. Ultra Prime, where have you been this first 3 series? This is a seriously good early game snowball. Fantastic amounts of gold onto Yuekai and Doggo, who both use their brawling power to make sure that FPX can't get damage done. Doggo's in a bit of a weird spot. He ends up buffering out of both the charm and the counter-strike coming in from the various members of FPX, and he gets to reset the fight. It's a little bit awkward that he doesn't have his bomb beyond this point, but Yuekai, he's picking up the rest of the dregs of the damage. As soon as these fights start to get won, FPX kind of fall apart.
Goodness gracious, Doggo's playing on a knife's edge right there. It's crazy.
I think he's the one holding the knife right now is the problem.
Yeah, I'd say that's the case here, but it was a good cleanup from Ultra Prime too. Again, good decision making coming through here. Now they have a 5-0 Yuekai on the Azir, able to put out so much work.
And he's about to head towards, looks like he's sat on an alternator, but he could even potentially be going towards a Lich Bane just after this too. Inventory, you have the 6 grubs on the tower again. Doggo is getting even more damage. You've got even more levels for more range. How do you stop this tower push? You need to be able to just stat check them, throw your ults at them, but they lose the fights they take right now.
It's crazy to me that Yuekai was a substitute for LNG all last year. I mean, this guy's been popping off this whole time. I mean, yes, they are 0-3, but I think, again, he's been the strongest point to the team so far. Xioalaohu getting caught in the side lane a little bit. Is the Jack, so could be able to get out at least. As Yuekai maybe saying no, as everything being utilized, and he's just going down. Hacker claims the kill.
Dude's just popping over fences everywhere. This dog's off the chain. He's hitting turrets even more at this point. At least Care can get himself a top lane tower. Sadly for them, it doesn't look like it's an objective bounty. I don't see the yellow border on the objectives that they have, and indeed it's not even an objective bounty. That would have been nice for them. But where did FPX get to stand? It feels like all of their towers are built on foundations of sand right now.
I can't even see an angle for them to have defense in that tier 2 push there, because there's so many grubbies, or mites at least. There's so much pressure around them. They have so little range when it comes to just Deokdam trying to clear out things that it's very, very difficult to approach, and they're not getting that sustained XP differential, that big differential from the bot lane.
I mean, thank God they don't have something like a Velvet. It feels already enough like a Zerg Rush or the Tyranid Horde coming to claim the planets of FPX, and they are... I mean, folks, this is a Jax getting all-in by a Sidwani from the jungle. Yes, everyone else turns out beyond this point, but look how little room for error FPX have. It feels like Ultra Prime can just continue forcing plays.
I want to check in on some item completions here. We do have that Rift Herald available, obviously, for Hacker, but the completion that matters, the Lich Bane there for Yuekai. We're close to a second item for Doggo as well. But Ultra Prime don't want to let off the gas here. They're just going to keep pressing into FPX.
And FPX have very little they can do about it. I mean, we highlighted what they could do before and say, hey, you know, try and throw a Mazael ult when they're a tower. You don't have the stacks. And who is driving? Who gets the fun today?
Okay.
Jwei is going in.
He's got it.
Yeah,
he went
that's
directly.
an easy one.
Good job. It's like like going to driving school. You just got to park straight.
So imagine having to parallel park one of those things. That is, that'd be difficult. It doesn't have a reverse here, folks.
It doesn't. You only go forward in this house.
Does it even have number plates?
Probably not. It just says it's probably, you know what it is?
Yeah,
it's one of those custom.
Someone should really call the devs about this.
No, it's one of those custom ones that's
illegal.
just like SHLY. It's like it's Shelly, but it's not the full thing. You gotta be cool with it. You gotta cut it down, you know?
Look, it's I didn't get that much sleep last night. It's been an early start 3 series day, trying to keep up the energy for this. I was sat there like, what does that word say? But Shelly, that's wonderful. I love that.
I mean, do y'all have like custom license plates that have like stupid little things
Yes,
on?
you're not. Yeah, so you can get custom license plates in the UK, but they're not. I don't think all of them are okay. It does need to be like approved, but yes, you can get them.
You can do like some of the stupidest things with license plates here. I've seen like GGEZ on the back of some here, especially in LA.
If you ever see a car with like AHR1, so Ari, that's you'll know that's
okay. That's not fair. No doubt, no doubt. I'll keep an eye out for sure. I'll be writing that one down. Now we have a lot of pressure around this Baron pit right now, just to get some vision down. It forces FPX to position around this too.
So now I think the name of the game from FPX is looking for a miracle pick onto someone important before this one. Because if you can do that, maybe you can get yourself it used to be called an economy baron, where you just have it just to claw yourself back some gold in the game. I don't think you are going to be able to do that though. You can't pick the jungler, they're too tanky. Maybe you can pick one of the carries, but it feels like you have to pick both of them because they both do too much damage. And you have to do that through the Milio as well. Very difficult situation for FPX.
And I think, like, I'm trying to contemplate the way that care becomes a factor here. Because again, we've only handed out one pass to play Corki, and that one person did not play Corki tonight. And I'm wondering if there's a way.
Corki as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're looking for a Baron steal at best here. MilkyWay has Flash, everyone's available. I think you can survive with just one person getting picked off. Ultra Prime realized this. Honestly, I think for Ultra Prime, I think it's even better for them to just keep... I mean, so... I would have said it's better for them to just keep hitting on towers. You're at the inhibitor turrets now, and Corki does have wave clear. Maybe it's too hard to do it, especially on the timing with the package. But Ultra Prime, they don't want to be sat in an even fight around Baron while they're tanking it. That might be... I know they're very far ahead, but that might just be tempting fate a little bit.
I think it'd be really difficult to find... But, so I will say though, we do have some really big items with completions coming online, at least shortly. Like the third item spike, I feel like, actually, got the crit one. I don't think that's going to be equipped.
No, it's going to be the Void Staff, which is, I mean, you see there's double Canic Rookan, which is a little bit awkward. I guess there's a Merc Treads on the Azir as well, so he feels like he has to go towards some bit more magic penetration. You see that? Ultra Prime, they are in fact leaving the Baron in terms of trying to start it up. I think it is better for them if they can continually hit turrets, but they just can't hit the inhib turrets for free. They can't afford to stall out. That's one thing which I'll say. They are ahead, but, you know, there is a world where you give up one miracle pick and the Baron goes over. Ultra Prime, you know, there was a series that they had against LG earlier in the week, and it was determined on, you know, Ultra Prime had some good early games, but they couldn't hold on to themselves. It's one of our continual LPL-wide conversations which we're now having about, okay, can our teams finish off the games? Ultra Prime would love to seal this out. This is about as easy as it gets in terms of closing out a game.
Got a 6,000 gold lead for them. We have a dragon spawning up now, a third cloud dragon, at least, or a third dragon, a cloud dragon for Ultra Prime. Would be huge. Hacker going for the shuffle here as Decade had the flank, and they might actually be able to catch down FPX. The flashes are starting to come out, and some worry across the faces of FPX's members as now mid lane, the push, they have all those mites, and here they go.
So it's a couple of ultimates and flashes used by Ultra Prime. They do get the flash from Care, but is that worth it? Xioalaohu, he was pushing the top side. He was securing a little bit of a pocket of pressure for FPX to play around. You can see that Ultra Prime, before they had knocked down all of the inner turrets, they were happy to start wailing away on them. It's much harder to do that to inhib turrets.
Life going for it, but Hacker wants to follow it up gleefully as Yuekai going for it, gets the angle, and Care's in some trouble now. The Corky can't do anything, and that is Ultra Prime getting the pick they needed.
Yeah, Ultra Prime without a care in the world. FPX just without a care. They don't have a flash on their mid laner, finally picked off. That should be the go button to go towards this Baron. They don't have the damage now to contest them. You're looking for a miracle steal. Let's see what Ultra Prime can do to keep MilkyWay away from the objective.
MilkyWay is going to position over here. You got the TP coming in from Xioalaohu as well. Got half health, a little bit less than the Baron. MilkyWay getting pushed out here by Decade, and the Baron just going out. Here comes Xioalaohu though, and the apotheosis on top of it's pretty big. That's after the charge, at least the explosive charge going off on the life here. Hits the damage, and now you got to be careful because you just get ripped apart. You tried to get in the pit, but Ultra Prime were too damn electric. As here they come, and Ultra Prime run away with it.
Turns out you don't need to teach old dogs new tricks. Doggo goes back to the tried and tested Tristana. Ultra Prime, they are playing so well around this full court press. And with the Baron in hand and the Dragon coming up soon, this should be a huge step forward for them. After the pick onto Cap, they knew they were in a good position, even with the ability for Xioalaohu to get into the middle of this. Jwei has managed to keep himself out of the combo, manages to buff everyone up as it keeps going. Doggo, Yuekai, similarly, not going to be caught enough into the combo for FPX to finish them off. We don't have the stats. And Ultra Prime, where they could have stalled out, where they have stalled out in previous series, they finally get themselves into a massively winning position in this game.
If the game was any closer, Doggo dies there. But he tried to rocket jump over the wall, got pulled back by the apotheosis, had to flash, but there was a moment where Ultra Prime were a little bit worried. In the end, it doesn't matter. The gold lead is too big. Now they can press up with the siege. Somebody's got to deal with Xioalaohu. But at this point, Ultra Prime, they're just trying to solidify some inhibs going down here.
But they are, and with the Baron buff, this should be so hard to defend. If you can't kill Ultra Prime as they're doing Baron, how can you stop them from taking your inhibitor turret? You can't even stop them taking it for a handful of seconds. The Void Mites, they're coming. The Horde is coming.
I'm scared. FPX going to burn him alive with the fires of the Phoenix, but is that Phoenix going to have to be rebirthed in game number 2? It's looking like it. All the mites are streaming forth, and it's terrifying as 2 waves are about to crash. Glacial Prison goes in. Xioalaohu's life is forfeit, and as the swarm nears the base, there is nothing that FPX can do. The Starship Troopers can't do it. The Troopers from Star Wars couldn't do it. And FPX can't do it. Ultra Prime make a solidified stand in game number 1 of this series as they strive forth for their first series win if they can close out this one.
It is a clean early game snowball, a clean set of pushing lanes which do not let up, and that goose is cooked, the Phoenix is cooked along with it. They're going to have to really start to think about how they play through the second draft, because that felt unplayable as soon as those lanes got to hit turrets.
Yeah, it was really rough, and I think FPX is going to have to go back to the drawing board. We are going to step away for a quick little break, and we'll be back for game number 2.